Hey, it's the Rooster, Bobby Leach for the TimesWeekly.com, coming live for Cheap Seats alongside my partner here, Big Tone.
Hey, Big Tone here, like Roberto Robinian. Life is beautiful. It's good to be Italian. I just want to tell everybody hello. Welcome to the week. We asked you last week for a question. What does March Madness mean? Rooster, March Madness, we left you with that.
Well, March Madness means that Bolingbrook lost, and that's kind of madness. I mean,
madness.
Yeah, I mean,
they lost.
They lost to Whitney Young in overtime for the second year in a row at the sectionals. And, unfortunately for Bolingbrook, that's all she wrote, this season. I mean, the Bolingbrook girls had a great season. They had a good year. They're young. They're not a bad basketball team. They're a very, very talented, very good basketball team. In fact, they were down by, I think, 17 points at one point and battled back to tie that game. So they didn't just lay down to them. But, again, you can't wait to that last minute. In some of those tight games like that, the girls, a lot of the juniors and sophomores that were out there playing, those girls got invaluable experience for the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. So it's all about stepping stones and building blocks, and you got to start over, and that's what Coach Smith has got to do with the Bolingbrook Raiders, Lady Raiders, anyhow. You got to start over and look at next year and try to get better. Identify what they were weak on, where they could have made improvements, and work real hard in the offseason. And I got to tell you, Bolingbrook's not going away. I mean, it's a stellar basketball program. It'll be back. It just wasn't their year this year, and it's just sad that it went down to the wire again in overtime. I mean, it's another classic contest between Bolingbrook and Whitney Young, and there's a lot of argument to be said that that game should be the championship game. It just should. I mean, they're two of the best teams in the state, and they got to face each other in a sectional. And
did the boys do any better?
No, the boys did not do any better.
No?
And talk about March Madness again. I thought Bolingbrook going into this season on the boys' side, I thought the Bolingbrook Raider boys varsity basketball team was one of the best. I mean, they were stacked. I mean, they had a great. They had Ben Moore. They had a great front line, a big front line, and they ran. I mean, they won 20 games this season, but they could not get past Oswego. Oswego just thumped them. I don't know. It was the 23 turnovers in that game. Bolingbrook didn't take care of the ball. They couldn't address that tandem backfield. Miles Simonton just went off. He had a big night for them. Their backcourt is phenomenal. He's a D1 guy. An outstanding guard, but that tandem was just too much for Bolingbrook to get a grip on to stop. And unfortunately for Bolingbrook, I think that they fell a little bit short. I mean, they made it to the regional championship. A team like that you'd like to see get to the sectionals, but listen, anybody that comes out of that sectional, you got to be good. I mean, you got to be really good because that sectional was loaded. They had Lamont in there, they had Oswego. That was a loaded sectional. So you come out of that sectional as a winner. I got to believe you got an honest shot at making it downstate and winning the whole kit and caboodle. I mean, there's some good basketball teams there. But anyhow, 72-59, Bolingbrook goes down to Oswego, and Oswego, fantastic year.
The Brook, huh?
I think too with Oswego too. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't give them as much respect as maybe I should have. Throughout the year. I mean, they're a great basketball team, no question about it. But they went undefeated in the SBC. Mm-hmm. But I guess the SBC really hasn't seen a powerhouse other than Plainfield East last year that came out of it. Hasn't really seen that big powerhouse program. And I just felt like, hey, maybe it was the competition. Maybe they're beating teams that they should be beating, and they did. So, but Oswego is clearly a better basketball team than I gave them credit for. I really thought that they would struggle with the likes of Bolingbrook, and they didn't. I mean, Ben Moore had a big night. He led all scorers with 23 points, I think 11 rebounds on the night. So he had a double-double himself.
Double-double.
Like
a double scoop of ice cream?
Yeah, kind of like that. But, I mean, when you turn the ball over 23 times in a basketball game, you ain't going to win many basketball games that way. You got to take care of the ball. They couldn't handle the pressure. It's just that simple. And, and Bolingbrook went down as a result in the regional championship. On the positive note, though, Providence goes into the postseason with a vanilla record. They were like 13-13, 13-14, something like that. They weren't this dominating team, and they were coming off a regional championship in 2012, last year. Well, they won again. They won it back-to-back. It's the first time since since the early 90s that Providence has won back-to-back regional titles. Mm-hmm. This time they beat in a landslide. They beat Plano 74-39. So, I mean, it wasn't even close. And Plano had a much better record. Plano was a 20-game winner, 20-plus game winner. And, Celtics got it done. I mean, they got it done and moved on to the sectionals. Unfortunately, and then also, let's talk about Joliet West. Joliet West did phenomenal again. TF North beat Joliet Central in the regional semifinal game. Joliet West also won their regional semifinal. So, it ended up being TF North last Friday night against Joliet West. It was a great game. Joliet West was trailing for most of the entire game. And they came back, won 40-37.
40-37.
That was a knockdown, drag out.
Nail biter, huh?
Yeah, nail biter.
Nail biter.
And it was a low scoring game too. So, congratulations to Joliet West and Coach Luke Yaklich for a great season. Dunnigan had a great night. He had a good night for West. And actually, we were going to go and catch Joliet West game, but the snowstorm this week really hampered that. It canceled the game, and hurt us from the show. Because we really expected to be at Joliet West at Harvey. We were going to actually go to see at Rich South to see the sectional there, and it didn't work out. So I guess they're playing as we speak right now, and so we'll find out. And then tomorrow night's the Friday or tonight for you guys at home, because we are live. We're live.
So we're live on Thursday, taping on Friday.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
okay.
So
right.
so
it's always confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing, but but in any event, the Tigers are playing likely if they won tonight, they're playing tonight for you guys because you're seeing their show on Friday.
Why don't we just say they lost? More than likely they'll win. Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because we keep saying that. Man.
We say when people win, they usually lose. So why don't we
Yeah.
say they're going to lose? Maybe they don't win.
Except for Bolingbrook when I said they win a state championship in football.
I'll let the Brook stuff go. Okay, my bad. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
So and anyhow, I mean, March Madness it's clearly the case. I mean, it is crazy during March.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy with the weather we get, man. We got. How about it, man? We got hammered with snow.
Oh,
I mean, we got more snow in the last 2 weeks than we've gotten all winter long.
Did you get a snowblower? Huh? You got a snowblower?
No, I got no snowblower.
I got a big snowblower. And I got two boys that can push the snowblower together.
Yeah. Well, I don't got that. I don't got two boys. I got one boy that's working and one daughter that doesn't know how to shovel, I guess. So, but in any event, that being the case, it's been a little bit crazy, but there's a lot of news that's come out around football, and we told you we'd get to that.
We like football.
Like football.
Football is good.
Well, I mean, it's good for it's good for at least a couple of new coaches that are coming in that we got word of, and I guess I'll let you do the honors. John Belskis retired after 21 years at Downers Grove South in a phenomenal record. He was a Hall of Fame. He was inducted to Illinois basketball. Illinois basketball. You get that basketball off your mind. We're talking football. Football. Yeah, so maybe I should get the helmet out and rub it.
My God.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, I should say, he is a Hall of Fame coach now, Belskis, and it's gonna be weird not seeing Coach John Belskis take out the Downers Grove South Mustangs. I mean, for as long as I can remember, he was the coach. And,
32 years, right?
32 years. He won a title in 2001. Gotta say, I'll bring him out as long as we're talking. This, for you people at home, this is Sal DeLuca. Sal DeLuca is a former Downers Grove South football player and one of my students. I'll put him out here for us all to see. And Sal, unfortunately, was killed in a car accident. For those of you who remember anything about football, right before his first game as a senior at Downers Grove South. I always like to point that out because, all these years, I coached Sal for 3 years in football. We're probably going back 20 years better, with Sal. Great kid, never forgot him. And for as long as I live, he'll be standing out here because he's one of those kind of football players, one of those kind of kids that you remember. But those are the kind of kids that Coach John Belskis, brought. I mean, he took kids that were good football players and made them good men. And maybe that's why he's a Hall of Fame coach. And so the new coach, he's a tech services teacher, but he's also been the defensive coordinator at South for 7 years, so he's very familiar with the program. And Mark Molinari, he'll be out there, 15 years of coaching experience. He did spend a couple of years I think, a couple of years at Lockport, as an assistant there. So, he's got 15 years of coaching experience, 13 at Downers Grove South, 7 as the defensive coordinator. So if you're thinking that, because Coach Belskis is gone, that I'm sure there's going to be changes. I mean, there's going to be changes. They're going to try to do some different things, but I think, at least initially, you'll see him kind of take up what's already been put in place and tweak it as it goes along. I mean, who knows? For 2, 3, 4 years from now, it might be a completely different program with a different style offense. But I don't think you're going to see that many changes.
No, not right away.
Yeah, not right away. I think he's just going to try to ease into it. I mean, that's how I would do it. And he's on a big stage. I mean, Downers Grove South. Let's face it, dude. I mean,
Friday night they're crowded, rowdy, right. Lots of fun.
Right, lots of fun, and so I'm happy for South that they were able to find somebody from within the program. Mm-hmm. There's a tradition and a heritage there that I think has been extremely positive, both for the community, for us. I mean, we've always been treated like pretty good there.
Yeah. Yeah, they like us there.
Yeah. So
I don't know why, but a few of them out there like us.
Yeah, a few of them out there like us. They're a good football team. They're exciting to watch. And, last year they struggled a little bit. I mean, I just don't think – I think Coach Belskis put it right. At mid-season last year, the team just didn't buy into the program the way they needed to buy in, And if you don't do that as seniors, if you don't buy in and you don't give 110%, and I know that's a cheesy phrase because everybody always says you got to give 110%. You don't give 110% in football, you're going to get run over because there's always a team out there that will.
Yep.
And that was proven last year. Some more big news around our area is Lincoln Way Central.
Lincoln Way Central.
Lincoln Way Central's coach, Brett Hafner had a hard 3 years. He took over a winning program that had won a state championship not long before, and he just struggled. He had a 7-20 record over 3 seasons, and that just, I don't know the reasons why he's not there right now. I don't know if it was, hey, I'm going to step down, I'm just not getting this done right, or he was let go. I mean, I don't know why he was, there's a change in coaching there. And I don't want to speculate because I think Brett was a great guy. And I got to tell you, I talked to him last year, at the end of a game, and it may have been the best. They were playing, it was at Bolingbrook, I got to see him. May have been the best defensive line I've ever seen at the high school level. They were that good.
Yeah.
They had a fantastic defensive line. He had a lot of great, I think he had a lot of great kudos that went unseen. I mean, everybody always looks at, hey, you're 7-20 over 3 years. You're not a good football coach. That ain't the case. That wasn't the case. And maybe it did work for him at Lincoln Way Central. But Brett, if you're out there and you're seeing this this video, whether you see it now or you see it in 6 months from now when you start Googling us for football, thank you for everything that you did for us. I mean, you always treated us really great, and we wish you the best. Mm-hmm. But now that, the big news is that the athletic director, which you don't really hear a lot of, the athletic director taking over the football program, but he is, Hud Venerable of take over. He's the AD at Central. So, I guess we'll wait and see how it goes for him. But, in an odd twist in all this, Lincoln Way Central, I was just informed, and I gotta give our credit to our statistician over here, Andy, who's sitting over there in the background. Andy, where's he going?
Lincoln Way Central and Stagg.
I think you got to speak up because people ain't going to hear you, man.
Andy, speak up.
Lincoln Way Central and Stagg are switching conferences.
Yeah, so they're switching conferences. Andy was able to get the scoop on that for us, and hey, thanks a lot for Andy.
Way to go.
Yep, scoop Andy. Andy, for you people that watch our show enough, you know Andy's voice because he does a lot of film for us, and he does a lot of reports, and he's kind of the webmeister and webmaster, so to speak. He knows it all. He's our stats guy. But again, I think it's interesting that Lincoln Way Central says, hey, we're going to go over to, the South Suburban Red Conference, and Stagg is leaving, the red and going into the blue. And I'm thinking to myself, now I know Stagg is, no offense to you folks at Stagg, out in Palos, do
you think they watch us in Palos?
No, man, they don't watch it. To be honest with you, they haven't won many football games. I know that they got a beautiful football field. They got a turf football field. We haven't gone to Stagg because they're not.
Didn't they play Romeoville one year?
Yeah, they used to play Romeoville.
Did they?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think that Stagg has got. I don't think they're going to an easier football conference. You're going into a conference that still you have to contend with. Bolingbrook, Lincoln Way East, Sandburg, Joliet West, Lockport. Joliet Central even. I mean, I think bringing Stagg in is going to help a little bit, but unless I guess but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it until we see them on the field because it wouldn't be fair for us to look at the record like we just talked about and base our opinion on what's going on at Stagg High School this year for football. But we definitely will. That's a new one. Thank you, Andy. We're going to have to pick up Stagg. Go ahead.
I think the reason for the switch is because Stagg,
Hey, come on around. Come, we're going to get Andy. Give
Andy some FaceTime.
Yeah, we're going to get Andy some FaceTime here. Just kind of. Yeah, there you go, Andy. Kind of slide in here. And
you ready?
So yeah,
let Andy sit in the big chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on, Andy, sit in the big chair.
Sit in the big chair here. All right. So this is like ESPN where we flap out guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, all right. So Andy, so tell us, what's the story?
Of the 16 teams or so in the total in Southwest Suburban, Stagg is actually a more popular school than Lincoln Way Central. This puts the top 8 popular schools in the blue, and then the lower 8 in the red.
Intriguing. I did not know that.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. I mean, too, we talk a lot about the size of schools. I mean, Romeoville has this problem in the Southwest Prairie Conference where they're really low, and then you got other teams that have got big populations of kids. So trying to balance that out just makes it a little bit more fair for everybody. But Stagg has definitely struggled mightily in football. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand they're getting a little bit better, but so we're gonna have to get out there, Coach Stone. I mean,
we're gonna have to get out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send. Maybe we'll send you out there. What do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it looks like just rumors along the internet that I've been reading is talk about in a few years there might be a breakup of the Southwest Suburban.
Well, I mean,
schools might go off, but I'm not saying it's anything.
It's just rumors, right? Yeah,
you're going to the Big Ten. Everybody's going to the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's not the Big Ten anymore. It's like the Big 12, Big 13, Big 14, however many people they put on there, right? So, all right, Andy. Well, hey, man, thanks for joining us on the show. I hope and this is Andy, by the way, Andy Biner, and Andy has been with us all for 4 years now. This is our 4th football season. So, man, we just keep going and going and going. We're like the plague, man. All right. I mean, I don't know.
I'm so happy right now, man. Andy's sitting in the big chair, man.
All right, Andy. Thanks for stopping in. So hey, so Big Tone, get back in your seat there.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. So in any event, I mean that you don't look like Andy.
That was intriguing. What Andy said it was informative, intriguing, and shocking.
Yeah.
Stagg. And Lincoln Way Central changes conferences.
Well, I mean, and there's let's talk. I mean, frankly, I did a column this week in the.
Was it off?
On the fence.
On the fence.
Yeah, is it off the fence or on the fence?
You know how much I love off the fence, on the fence, whatever it is, off the fence and on the fence.
Yeah. So
in between the fence.
I talked a little bit about what's happening down in Louisiana. In Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, and their high school association, all the principals that are from their member schools got together and voted to basically break up. I think I read somewhere it was 92-year tradition of allowing Catholic, private, parochial schools, any type of school, magnet schools. Those private institutions are no longer able to compete for the state championship in the same way that the public schools are. They separate them. They have 5 classes now for public schools, 5 different championships and different class ratings, and then they set aside 2 specifically for these private schools and the Catholic schools, and they voted on it, and it passed. It really ticked off. It ticked off a lot of people. Obviously, the majority of the schools voted for this, but it's got a lot of people's hair on the back of their neck up a little bit for football. I mean, the according to these reports, the Louisiana state legislature, put together a panel on it. For God's sake, this past week they actually met on it, and there's not a whole lot they can do. I mean, the government can come in and they can talk about it and look at it, but they can't do anything because the association itself, they just did a Supreme Court fight over this. They won in a Supreme Court ruling that the Louisiana State Athletic Association is a private entity. So if they're private, the government can't do anything about it. They can talk about it all they want. They can apply pressure if they want to apply pressure. But this is a private entity. They can do as they wish. And I guess I don't know, dude. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, if we did that here, you know,
Oh.
in Illinois, and it's been tried. I mean, it not necessarily been tried, but you know, they've kicked this can around, you know, several times, and you know, it rears its ugly head, you know, every so often, you know, about hey, let's split out the private schools from the public schools. It's not fair. That's the basis of the argument. It's not fair.
Who's that not fair to, though?
Well, I mean, that's what I say too. Is you know, my opinion was, you know, people will say, hey, listen, let me just use an example of, you know, Joliet Catholic and Joliet West. You know, so Joliet West says, hey, if we have to play Joliet Catholic, we don't have as many star athletes on our team as you do on yours, and you're able to go out and get kids from a much wider geographical area, and that's an advantage. We have to take whatever walks through our door. You get to take the very best of what you want. You can offer, you know, assistance. You know, you can get the best, you know, students. You can get the best, you know. So it's almost like they're saying, "Hey, you're cherry picking," and I don't know.
In a sense, they are, though, aren't they?
Well,
in a
you know,
sense.
sure. In a sense, I mean, if you've got the money to go and attend a private school or magnet school, you know, you may have some advantage. I mean, I don't know that you have any real advantage. I mean, maybe you got some advantage as far as, you know, you get 5 all-state football players in the same backfield together, and I guess, you know, you're going to have an advantage over a comparable public school. But I don't buy into that, man. I mean, my argument is right now that whether you're a private school, or you're a Catholic school, or you're, you know, a Lutheran school, or whatever it is, or a magnet school, and you're competing against public schools get the benefit of everybody. They get everybody. So you know, it's like, you know, you automatically get everybody in your boundary area, and they have to fight for their little bit. So if you take Joliet Catholic, which is a great example in this case, and you pump in Joliet West and Joliet Central, you got 3 high schools fighting for, you know, everybody in town, and theoretically, everybody within the boundaries of that area all go to either Central or the West because it's a public high school. Well, where's Joliet Catholic going to find enough students to have a high school if they're only getting the students that can afford or that choose to go to a parochial school, that they're only allowed to get those kids in? You wouldn't even be able to field a football team, you know? And I think it's up to the parents to decide that. And the bottom line is, if you really believe that, hey man, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, you know? And I don't know about you, but I didn't see Joliet Catholic win a state championship last year.
No.
You know, the state championships have been going on since the
They've won in a
70s
while, right?
for football around here, you know, the current system, and they got 14 state championships since then.
It was back in the 70s, 80s, early
Right,
90s, right?
right. You know, so I mean,
I believe 07 was the last time JCA won.
yeah, there you go. So, you know, 2007 was the last time they actually won the state championship. You know, you can point to Montini and say, well, hey, Montini wins all the time. Like, you know, I go back to the Bolingbrook game in Bolingbrook Loyola. You know, Bolingbrook, you know, public school, Loyola, not a public school. Loyola was the Ramblers were having a great season that year. And, you know, they looked fantastic, you know, coming in, and Bolingbrook beat them. You know, if you want to be the best, beat the best. And if you consider, you know, that the Catholic high schools or the private high schools have an advantage over your football program, too bad. You know, too bad. Make yourself bigger, stronger, and faster. You'll compete. You know, I mean, you know, I think, you know, I mean, what are we gonna do? You know, we gotta start taking a spelling bee and saying, hey, you know, this kid's from this school and this kid's from this school, so he can't be in the spelling bee.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I don't know. I mean, everybody's got an opinion on it. Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, I think I'm right. But you know, that's my opinion. You know, and
You're sticking to it, huh?
and I'm sticking to it. I think I like the fact that these schools get to compete with each other. I think it waters it down. I think if you win a state championship and you only won from this group, then it waters it down. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I think if you're going to win, beat them all.
I agree with whatever you say, boss.
No, you don't. You never agree with half the stuff I say. No?
Well, not on camera.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, and I guess you know, with football season right around the corner and all the changes that are going on. I mean, you know, they were talking not too long ago about changing how many times a kid can hit each other, how many times you can have contact practices, and the Illinois legislature is getting involved in that. I mean, with all due respect, stay out of it. Let the high schools deal with it. Let the association, let the IHSA handle it. I mean, the IHSA and the school districts at large are there they're in the kids' best interest. They're looking out for the kids. Trust me, if there's a way to protect a child, they're going to do it. You know, I don't care what anybody says. You know, you're looking out for your athletes. A good football coach, a good program is always looking out for your athletes. You don't need to have that legislated.
They have to look out for it because there's always that one little thing called lawsuit.
Right. Well, you got the lawsuits that can float around on that, and you know, I think that you know, to be honest with you, I mean, there's some lawsuits. I just don't think it's fair to nail a coach with everything that they get nailed with. Either the liability to be a teacher or a coach nowadays is really, you know, it's really up there. You really got to know your stuff, and I mean, if you do something wrong, you know, I guess if you do something wrong, you're gonna, you know, feel the consequences of it. But the reality is we judge too many people in this society today. We really do.
Yeah, we do.
You know,
Andy, do we judge?
Maybe a little too much.
you know, see, you know, I mean, even
Tree.
Andy, you know, our statistician. How many times have we judged in the last week?
I'll tell you. I don't know. I judge that way.
If anything, it's gonna only limiting hits in practice to once a week is gonna cause more injuries in the game.
Right. You know, and that's another, you know, by doing that, you know, that's a very good point. Is it's going to bring in more injuries to the game because the kids aren't going to be prepared on Friday night. I mean, listen, you don't want to go out on a varsity football field or any football field and be unprepared, you know, and not be ready to hit. You know,
Head take it off.
yep. It's you know, I mean, it's a sport that I guess you know, I mean, we could say the same thing about hockey. You can say the same thing about softball. You can say the same thing about baseball. You can say the same thing about basketball. I mean, head contact, body contact, physical contact, whether it's legal or not, happens in almost every sport.
Yeah.
I mean, even running, for God's sake. You know, you can run into somebody or bump into somebody. Or, I mean, even if you're in track and field, I mean, there's an assumed risk when you play sports. That's just the way it is. And I mean, and you know, some are really good at it, some aren't. Some get injured, and that's it. I mean, if I blew my knee out in a high school football game and I could never play football again, and I maybe couldn't walk the right way ever again, do I feel like I'm entitled to a lawsuit against the school for blowing my knee out playing a game? I mean, you gotta assume and accept some responsibility when you decide to play. I don't know. That's my 2 cents for it.
I agree. So does Booby Miles of Friday Night Lights. He agrees too.
Yeah.
Man, if he had to do it all over again, he probably would have sat out that game.
Yeah,
You know, he could have played in the championship. But then
that's
again,
true. Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows?
So in any event, you know, I guess you know that's about all she wrote this week for.
We're over now?
Yeah, we're just, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Tone, heat up the car. I'm coming.
So, hey man, any final thoughts? I mean, what, you know, how was your week? You know, what did you do all week? You know, 'cause,
Oh, hey, you know something? Special shout out to Andre, Discount Tire, Bolingbrook.
oh yeah, hey, Andre, hey, thanks for
Every
taking care of
cheap
him, man.
seat watcher took care of me over there, gave me a nice price on a tire. $81 tire for a nice price. I ain't gonna tell you because I don't want you to go in there and say, "Hey, you took care of that schmuck. What about me?" All
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah. What?
You know,
Chop.
Andre-
Andre already got tires. Thanks. Man.
Andre Bolingbrook Discount Tire, top shelf,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bring the Beamer over there and have them, you know, put some new tires on it. You know.
top shelf.
Yeah, top shelf. But top shelf guy, thanks a lot, guys. And you know, I walked into a Portillo's and I had an older guy come up to me and buy me my lunch. I didn't have to pay for my lunch.
Really?
He's like, yeah.
What was this?
So I'm like, hey man, this is some good stuff. I went to the
Because he-
Portillo's in Bolingbrook
Because he knew you.
because he knew us from Cheap Seats. I guess his grandson, you know, was a football player, and you know, so he caught us, and so and he wouldn't tell me his name because he didn't want to embarrass his grandson. I guess his grandson is going to be playing again this year, and we've covered him. So whoever you are out there, thanks, man. The lunch was awesome. It was great. You know,
Sorry, I got a tire. I didn't get
I got
beef-
lunch.
I didn't get a beef sandwich, but I got a tire. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it was not too bad. But hey, I mean, it's been a great lot of news going on. As soon as this weather breaks, we're going to get out to the football fields, and you know, Andy himself too. I mean, now you're all settled in and settled down. You got a new car too, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a new sports car. So we're gonna, you might see his little red thing going
I
around.
should go to Discount Tire. I have a leak in my back tire.
Yeah, so there you go. There
See,
you go.
Andre, take care of Andy.
Take care of our boy here. But so in any event, you know, but as soon as the weather breaks and we get the snow off the ground again, you know, we can get back out there on the football field. We got some stuff we got to do, you know. So what else you up to?
Nope. Coach Belkis, he's gonna be coaching somewhere this year. You know,
You think so?
too good a coach.
Yeah, he is too good a coach. I mean,
Too
I
good a
hate
coach.
to see him. I hate to see him gone, but you know.
Yeah, going to the parochial way. I'm thinking. You know?
think so?
I think so.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if Big Tone's right. You know, I mean, schedules are starting to come out. We're going to start putting that together as well. You know, we got some schedules of some of the teams that were released, who they're going. Where's Montini playing? Where's their first game? Because Lincoln Way East and Montini are not playing each other. Newsflash this year.
There is week 1 or week 2. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they're going down to St. Louis area. Play teams like Loyola and Montini are heading down south to play East St. Louis, O'Fallon, teams like around there. I forget which teams. I'd have to look at the schedule.
All I know
again.
is he gets to go down south to cover those games.
Yeah,
it ain't
he's
gonna be
got a car.
us.
He's got a car
we're
now,
sen-
man. He's got
We're
a
sending
car.
him down to the sticks. We're gonna give you a cowboy hat, some cowboy boots, and some hay to bribe the horses with when your car breaks down.
If I don't return, I probably wore my Cubs gear and.
And somebody, the Cubs. See, there you go.
Coach.
I forgot. Give you some.
Oh,
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep. We're not that far away from April.
Jesus.
Home opener for the Cubs.
Who they
I'm gonna
playing?
get
Who
the
they
picture.
playing?
I don't know.
Who they playing?
Who cares? We're not going there for the game.
April 1st is there at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're at Pittsburgh.
Who they playing? With home, where's the home opener? Who they playing? Oh, well, the Nationals, Washington? Maybe.
That was last year.
I don't know.
You're a little behind the times.
I don't think so. Chip. Put it up there.
The Sox are playing Romeoville. I mean, I mean that's the only way they can get a win.
Are we down here?
Yeah, we're done here. So, hey,
God,
man,
thank you.
Hey, Andy, as always, brother, it was awesome to see you.
Okay.
That was just lame, man. You know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, wait. Salami, my brother.
All right, man. Hey, we want to thank you for tuning in to Cheap Seats again this week. And
Cheap seats once again. What's the question for the week this week? What are we? March Madness last week. What's the question?
the question is this week is, are you going to be on time for Cheap Seats next week?
Tune in. Tune in next week.
And we'll catch you next week right here, only on Cheap Seats.
Everybody stay safe. Have a fantastic week.